Yo, 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 what is up for another episode of Flip Your 20 Friday? See how I was sneaky with the microphone? That's what I do now, I'm sneaky. As per usual, you're on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe if these videos are helping you and the people you care about. It's the whole reason I'm doing them in the first place, is to help everybody, including myself, continue to grow and evolve. So today's video was kind of like, came to me kind of like the friendship video recently. Few things just kind of kept showing up and I said, I'm going to do a video on this. So today's video is self-regulation at this moment in history. Self-regulation at this moment in history. So a couple of things before I even get started. I'm not a social worker. I'm not a psychologist, a psychiatrist. So I'm going to talk about self-regulation in layman's terms. I did reach out to a social worker friend of mine today who gave me a couple of tips, and so I'm just going to, and I watched some videos, and I know the concept, but I just wanted to, I'm like, if I'm going to explain it, I want to do the best I can. So just know I'm explaining it as a non-social worker. So self-regulation at this moment in history is really important because we're kind of at a crossroads. I don't even know if that's the right word. We're at this moment in history where so much is happening like right now. So obviously we have the election. I'm filming this right before Halloween of 2020. So we've now had COVID, like in terms of when things shut down was like mid-March. So we're 7+ months, like 7.5 months into COVID. So the shock of it's over. And then you're like, okay, well, summer, things will get better. And now it's just this long drawn out thing. Eventually we'll look back. I can't remember. I can't wait until the day, I don't know when it'll be, when we get to say, oh my gosh, do you like totally remember the pandemic? Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that day. However, that's still a way away, and just we're in this long drag of it now. And everything COVID related. If you're still at home learning, if you're hybrid learning, if you're still at home working and your kids are there and you still can't go to your favorite restaurant now that it's getting cold in a lot of areas of the country. Now you can't sit outside at restaurants and all the things. And we have daylight savings time, so we lose an hour of sleep this weekend and then it's going to be dark earlier, which I know why they did it way back in the day, but if anyone knows why we still do it in 2020, could you please just DM me or message me? I'm just curious. Because that throws off your clock, your circadian rhythm a bit, your biological clock. And so we have that. Again, weather's turning cold. Seasonal affective disorder. So I just feel like it's like this perfect storm of all these things, and we haven't been able to catch our breath really in the past 7.5 months. And let's be honest, the election, I keep this non-political, but that's adding a whole extra layer. Like, let's just be honest about it. So no matter what your beliefs are, who you're voting for. So I've been seeing a lot come up about how to self-regulate, which basically, self-regulation basically is knowing when you are dysregulated, meaning knowing when you're like about to like fly off the handle and spiral out of control, or when you're just like maybe on the couch, can't move, no motivation. So neither of that high or low is where you want to be. We want to be in that middle area, regulated, able to focus, take care of ourselves, be healthy, have good relationships, focus, etc. So it's learning how to come back to that center where you're regulated, not too high, not too low. And I'll go over some examples. But one of the key points, too, that my friend mentioned is it's not just when you're dysregulated at those highs or lows. It's knowing what feeling regulated feels like for you. That's really key. Knowing what your level of self-regulation feels like. So when you're just kind of going about your day, you're feeling good, maybe set a reminder on your phone. How's my regulation today? I don't know. Why did I do a little shoulder shimmy? I don't know. Fancy. So it's checking in on yourself physically, mentally, when I'm just feeling good, I'm doing my thing, and this is you, feeling good, doing my thing. How do you feel? What are you feeling? And being aware of those feelings physically and mentally, so when you are dysregulated, and I think, frankly, I think a lot of us are that high dysregulation, like panicky, anxiety, just like watching too much news and the election and when are my kids going back to school. I just heard two parents in Target, two moms. They're like, yeah, well, we tried that. No, I love you, honey. She's like a middle school girl. No, honey, I love you. Love you. You're the sweetest. Oh my gosh. She's like, I can't take it. But honey, and I was cracking up because people are frazzled right now. There's just too much going on. And now with it getting cold and everyone back inside, it's a hot mess. So, oh, the poor girl was like, do you really love me, Mom? So it appears to me a lot of us are dysregulated high. Like, again, the anxiety, the panic, all that. Now, it doesn't mean we're not, sometimes we don't have those days where you're like on the couch and you don't want to move. Been there. Totally been there. But when you know what your normal is, then you can start to feel when you're going too high or low. And we'll just use high in this example. When you're getting dysregulated, that spastic, anxiety, frantic pace, worrying about everything, you can start to feel that. So I can tell you and I'll give some examples of how to get yourself regulated. But for me, I know when I'm in my normal state, my breathing is good, my shoulders are relaxed, my jaw's not clenched, I'm thinking clearly, I can focus on a task I'm doing, even if I'm doing a couple simple ones like multitasking, simple ones, I'm kind of in flow. I'm in flow. When I'm dysregulated, which for me especially is my mind, I'm just focused on way too many things, or I'm thinking like 10 steps ahead, or I'm having a conversation with someone who's not in the room, or whatever the thing, or I'm going over the thing in my head millions of times. I can feel my breathing gets shortened. I almost not hold my breath, but kind of to a degree I'm holding it, or I'm just not, it's super shallow breathing, or I'm not breathing as regularly. My jaw definitely gets tight. I can feel my whole body, like my body tightens up. My movements are much shorter and like curt. I don't just, I'm not in the flow. I'm like boom, boom. Like I'm just like definitely agitated. I can feel that. My temper's very short. I can get mad at someone for no reason. Like I don't really road rage at all. It's not my thing. I'm like, look how fast you are getting to the red light. But I can feel, and I've noticed it recently, I'm agitated with some drivers, which is out of character. So when I'm like looking at someone hard, you know how you do that in the car, you're like looking at them? Because that's effective. Oh, things we do. I catch myself, I'm like, ooh. This is part of knowing your norm. So when you're and how you're regulated, so when you're dysregulated up or down, you know what I'm up, and I'm like, oh, girl, that is not how you normally behave when you drive. Okay, what's up? So that's an easy one for me to check in on. Or I will notice that I'm like, it could even be pouring a glass of water and I'm not paying attention and I spill it. And I'm like, really? I just spilled water? I can't pour water in a glass? Like it overflows because my mind isn't focused. Or I'll be fumbling over things and I can't, I'm dropping my keys. Like, these are not major things, but for me, those are my keys to know I'm dysregulated, I'm not focusing, I'm stressed out, I'm thinking about a ton of other things, or I'm about to go spiral and I gotta pump the brakes hard. So this is why it comes back to when you're in your normal state, where you're focused, you're doing your thing, know what that feels like, so when you start to not feel like it, aka looking at someone hard when you're driving, then you can start to work on your own strategies that work to get you back regulated. For me, definitely movement. Could be a walk, could be working out. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I just started doing sprouting seeds. I love it. Like, it's super healthy, cheap. I don't really like to cook, so I get to just use water and seeds, and in 5 to 7 days, I've got these beautiful, healthy sprouts. If you're not sure, just Google sprouting or sprouting seeds. Love it. It calms me down. I geek out watching things grow and they're in mason jars. I geek out over it. I mean, I just hit a high note I never hit. That's how excited I am. That brings me back to like my calm. This is one of my favorite mugs that one of my friends gave me. It says cup of gratitude. When you practice gratitude, it's hard to be annoyed and frustrated. Gratitude for me centers me, it brings me back. I focus on what I'm grateful for, big things, small things. I might turn on a stand-up comedian for a few minutes. I might turn to a go-to podcast just to hear the person's voice, someone that I really trust, I listen to, I love their messaging. I might just turn on for 5 minutes just to hear their voice and to calm me or center me. So those are some things I do. but I have to know where I'm normally at, where I'm normally regulated. So and for me, it's not really when I'm down. It's usually if I'm like stressed or feeling anxiety or something coming up, or I'm just a hot mess all over the place. Once I start to dysregulate up, I can do those things to bring me back to my normal. It might be music for you. Maybe it's slow music. Maybe it's fast music. Maybe you're into gaming. Maybe you're into crafts. One of the things they talk about too that I was learning about is touch. So like you could pick up literally any object. So I might pick up my mug and I feel, oh, it's cold. I have some water and apple cider vinegar in here. It's good for the digestive tract. So I feel it's cold, it's round. This design, it's actually not flush. There's a little texture to it. And so same with the letters. So this like being really focused and how much water is in here and touching and just a tactile. It could be anything. It could be a stuffed teddy bear. It could be a tennis racket, whatever you have. But that tactile somehow brings your focus into that and gets you off of whatever you were dysregulated about. So that's kind of new to me. I don't really do that, but that was one thing I learned about today too. So sharing all of this for you because we are in a wild ride for the next probably a couple months, depending on what happens in the election, what happens after the election. Then you have holidays coming up. Can you go to see your family? Can you not? How many people? There's so many things. And then a new year. There's just so many things that I'm sensing. There's a lot of that dysregulation happening. And to be able to pull yourself back, to focus and to handle it's going to be really, really vital for your sanity, for survival, to thrive, to cope, to continue moving forward because forward is a pace. I hope that helped you. Went a little longer than I thought. However, I'm okay with that because I think there's some good information there that will help you. It certainly is going to help me for the next couple months. So take care of yourself. Take care of each other. I'll see you in a couple of days for the next Monday with Molly. Flip your 20. Peace.